Hi there, welcome to My Catholic Perspective. I am Allie Marie, a wife of 3 years and a sister to 2 sisters and 3 brothers. I heard that somebody caught a flu or something like that, so I hope it flew away. Starting today with the Lent joke of the day because it is applicable. With the coronavirus going around, there's definitely a lot of fear-mongering going on in the media, and that's causing this almost apocalyptic type response with colleges closing and parishes deciding to discontinue public masses. The NCAA has decided not to have their games with any fans. The NBA has suspended their season due to a player actually testing positive for the coronavirus. And so there is some legitimacy to wanting to protect our elderly community. So the coronavirus does primarily end up being lethal to the elderly people over 60 years old. Children under 9 years old, it's less than 1% are contracting it. And so people with like pre-existing conditions and smokers, people with lung issues, hypertension, high blood pressure, different things like that they're the ones that are susceptible to actually experiencing severe complications of the coronavirus, of COVID-19. So for the vast majority of people, if, like, say I were to catch it, I am pregnant, as you hopefully know, but I am pregnant, so I am immunocompromised right now. I'm immunosuppressed. And so I'm somewhat susceptible to experience severe complications. I am an ex-smoker. I, haven't always led the most healthy lifestyle, but we have to trust God. And that's not blind faith. That's not saying forget hand washing, forget hand sanitizer, go to the store and, touch all the produce and do this, do that. Like, I'm not saying don't take precautions. We were, same with natural family planning. We were given brains by God to use. We can be logical in our approaches to how we live our life in a preventative measure, whether, in all of those different ways. So being cautious is not a bad thing. However, fear does not come from love. In fact, love drives out all fear. And so when we look at fear of this virus, it is clear that it is not from God, because it just can't. God can't contradict himself. So we see the devil obviously working. It's in the middle of Lent right now, this time where we are called to wear ashes and put on our sackcloths and go out and help the homeless and be active in our community. And the media and the government and everyone else is saying, stay home so that you don't get sick. Stay 6 feet away from this other person. We're not doing Mass anymore. You can't receive the Eucharist on your tongue. All of these oversteps, maybe, I don't know, precautions is what they would call them, are being taken in order to prevent the spread of the disease. So there is an element of protecting the people over 60, as I said, and there is definitely something to be said about that. However, there is also just the general thing of, if you feel sick, stay home. If you, maybe postpone a traveling trip that you're planning to take. I personally would not go on a plane right now. It's all recirculated air. You don't know who's on there. The coronavirus can appear in somebody with 0 symptoms and they can spread it. And there are so many risks that are being taken when you do go out. I mean, I have to go to the grocery store today. Evelyn's gonna go with me. We use a shopping cart cover. We always have, ever since she was born. I have a natural cautionary type mindset against germs. I didn't allow hospital visitors. We were very cautious about making sure people had their vaccines. And I mean, when a child is so little, when they're frail, when they don't have a super strong immune system yet, we are called to protect that. We are to protect the innocent. And that is why we are also called to protect the elderly at this point. Now, is that best done by closing churches instead of saying, if you're over this old or if you're immunosuppressed, we will bring the Eucharist to you? We will have a designated person that's going to go out and deliver the Eucharist, or, kind of like they do in the hospitals. Are we, how are we serving the Catholic community by taking away something so precious as the body of Christ. Now, I will also point out, in the early church, it was deemed only necessary to receive the body of Christ once a year at Easter. It is still, we are required, it is like a moral obligation, let's call it that. I don't really like required, but it's a moral obligation for us to attend confession once a year at Easter. So this whole deal that this one time of the year that we are like, it's mandatory or as like obligatory that we are to attend, that we are to seek confession, that's being taken away. I don't know that that's from God. I don't know if that fear could be from God, since love drives out all fear. And so I just want to encourage you. It's obviously, be smart. We've always had hand sanitizer in the diaper bag. I've always been very cautious about germs and everything else. But just, use your head. If you've been on a plane, maybe don't go around an elderly person. Maybe, kind of self-quarantine for a few days, because, symptoms can show up after 2 days. They say 2 to 14 days. And allow yourself that time just to experience if maybe you did accidentally catch something. And it could not be the coronavirus. It could be the flu. It could be anything. And the argument that the flu is more deadly than the coronavirus has now been debunked. The mortality rate is higher with the coronavirus. A U.S. health official just informed Congress that it is, it's 10 times more lethal than the flu, the coronavirus is. And so we do see a higher percentage, even though, because we haven't seen the full incubation of this and the full, it's a pandemic, but we haven't seen it come to full fruition. It is only just starting in the United States. And so we have to be cautionary. We have to use our brains that are God-given to say what is smart, what is not, what, I don't need to buy like months worth of supply of toilet paper. I don't even really know what's going on with that, but we've always bought toilet paper in bulk. I'm always, that's like one of the things I never want to run out of. So, but I don't know. I think that there's a certain level of wisdom that comes into play. And there is also a certain amount of do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Do not be anxious about tomorrow. Worry only about the problems that you face today. So if you're sick today, be sure to take the precautions. Stay home. Go to the hospital if you have to. Call ahead to let them know that you think that you could be sick with the coronavirus. And just, be smart about it. Use your brain. God gave it to us, and so we can do that. But the fear and the fear-mongering that the media is portraying, it's no different than anything else that the media tries to do. And I think that because of the way that the media has responded, and because of certain measures that certain countries or certain colleges have taken, it's all of a sudden setting this precedent. You see Harvard saying all students have to move out and be home by Sunday. And then all of these schools are suddenly moving all of their classes online. And it's like, once a precedent is set in one area, you say Italy is under complete quarantine. Nobody's allowed in or out, and they have to stay home. And it's precedence ends up getting set. And from a public relations standpoint, it is important for companies to take that into consideration, since, I've gotten emails from the Hilton, I've gotten emails from Lowe's, from Baby Center, from all these different places saying, here are the precautions that we're taking about the coronavirus. You need to not worry about our employees, or, if you're a customer with us, anything like that. And it's for those that are scared, because we have to take into consideration that some do fear this more than others due to being immunosuppressed, due to having, a history of lung issues, due to being elderly, anything like that. I know that it's not likely that my daughter would contract anything, but it's still scary, because even if it's the flu, that wouldn't be good for her. She's gonna get sick, I know, but we just have to be smart. Wash your hands, use hand sanitizer, don't pay $50 for a bottle, and just, rubbing alcohol works all the same. It's just, it has to be 60% alcohol if it's hand sanitizer, and you're going to kill all the germs. So, yeah, those are my thoughts, though, from a Catholic perspective, to say, perfect love drives out fear. You don't need to be afraid. If it's your time to go home, you're going to go home. And it's a sad thing to think about. I don't want to die. I want to be able to be here for my daughter and for my husband and for anyone who, happens to like me. I know it's few and far between, but we definitely, we have a will to live. It's ingrained in ourselves, in our brain, and that's a very good and healthy thing. But if we allow fear to overtake that, if we allow fear to drive that, that's not holy. We want love to drive our will to live, not fear. So I hope that you take that to heart. I'm definitely praying for so many people. Oh, I just can't even imagine. I'm like terrified that, my mom or dad would contract it, or my grandma, and I know that several people's moms and grandparents and relatives and everything have already passed away from it. And it's just, my heart aches for everyone that's affected by this. So, you definitely continue praying for everyone. The Hail Mary is 10 seconds. So if you pray 2 Hail Marys while you wash your hands, that's the amount of time you're supposed to wash. So God bless you. I pray that God is able to grant you the resources that you need to draw closer to Him and to those around you. And I hope you're able to make it a great day. We'll see you again soon.